in to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucius, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde, and the governor. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience. Yes, sir. We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
And it is week kabillion. And it definitely feels like week kabillion of this season. We're all here. We're all here to be here for Athletics LLC. I think tonight all of us love having our facades of not track people. So without further ado, that being said, Lamar, how are you this evening?
I am good. I think this might be a show first, maybe a show second. I'm in the same state as Sir Lucius. Nowhere near him, but in the same state.
Sounds like a
just to give you an idea.
Nowhere near him.
Today I drove 3/4 of a gas tank.
Well, your room behind you looks messy, sir. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Don't be fooled by the background.
Anyhow, Governor, with your very clean background, how are you this evening, sir? Is that the Riverwalk or like a piece of the Riverwalk?
I think that's the museum, the museum that's up downtown by the Riverwalk. Can't remember what the name is, but yeah, just recovering from hosting our only outdoor meet.
Amen.
45 degrees, pouring rain.
Amen.
It was very Drake Relays-esque. We we got a chance to see who the tough guys are on our team. But yeah, we made it through. Everybody's healthy, and we can now move on. First day of spring was yesterday.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was.
So in true fashion, it was starting today, but it was yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
My tan line tells me it was today, not yesterday.
Yep. Welcome to Texas.
Oh my gosh. Sir Lucius, how are you this evening, sir?
I am doing well. I am going to help the governor out here. You found out who your tough guys and girls were?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yes.
I assure you there's usually more tough girls than the guys.
I'm just saying, you kind of got to give the ladies a shout out so you don't get yourself in trouble.
It's very true, very true.
How very director of you.
I am not a director of anything. Thank you very much. I'm a track and field coach.
Oh, Clyde, last but not least, how are you?
You Hollywood types with this director stuff. Come on.
Hey, don't hate on the salary bumping titles. Let's be clear. That's all that is.
World problems.
That's all that was about.
Let me get some of that. Let me get some of that. Hold on. I need a salary bumping title.
Yeah. Next year, Sir Lucius is going to be called the Prime Minister of Track and Field, right?
That's right.
So they can pay him 11 more cents.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
I am good. We are getting ready to go back on the road and head to San Diego this weekend for a few competitions. We were at Stanford last week, Cardinal Classic. It was a solid opener, so everybody's healthy. That's all you can ask for.
Absolutely.
Aztec invite.
Exactly what you want to be.
Love it. Well, heading into our topics.
So I have a question. I have a question. How are you, Big League?
I'm good.
Okay.
Is that convincing enough?
Anybody else having problems believing that?
Wow.
I mean, like every week she asks us how we're doing, and we never ask her how she's doing. So
that is akin to asking any female
Yeah.
Are you hungry? No.
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Nope. I'm good.
Hey, Governor. See, this is twice tonight now. It's twice.
He is wading in these waters, isn't he?
Does Jackie watch the show? You better behave.
Yes, you do.
You're in
That's
trouble.
really funny. Really funny. I love it.
You are in
I
trouble, and
love
I'm
it.
here for it.
It's a simple question, is it not? It's a simple.
Oh no,
No.
like you have to understand, bro. I feel your pain, but unlike you, I'm not calling my wife out. You called yours.
Yeah.
I'm not in it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
man.
understand what you're saying, but I'm not co-signing that on
Oh man.
public conversation. No chance.
Oh my
No
God,
chance.
that's so funny. That's so funny.
Are you hungry?
If you want to add 5 months to your life, don't ever ask that question.
Don't ask the question. Just don't even. Nope.
Oh, oh my gosh. So I too, like the governor, am recovering from home meat
Yeah.
shenanigans. And sheesh. Sheesh. The worst part is that you have such bad hangover that you
Oh,
fall
yeah.
behind in work and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Wednesday and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
nothing went anywhere. Why? Why didn't anything go?
I literally feel like I'm still hungover from the indoor national league.
Mm.
I've heard that
Really do.
statement too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So how you guys ever like just go right into a meet the next week? God bless you.
Man.
Well, and then the
No
indoor
chance.
meet wants to remind you by sending you your bill. Now I got that yesterday and I was like, oh man, I didn't need to see that.
Right.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, after our fun episode with Mr. Dan O'Brien last week, we had lots of comments and lots of things. So we wanted to talk about, the good, the bad, and the ugly of TV coverage for track and field, and kind of what our thoughts were about it. So I'm posing that question to you all, and what do we like and what needs to get better? And, I shouldn't have made that face when I said that. Let me fix that.
Are we
needs to
going
get
to
better?
break it
Yeah,
up
take it
into
back.
literal all three of those categories?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's just kind of like, I think what you feel like, what's good, what's bad, what's ugly. I mean, I don't think you have to like dive into one particular category. Just go for what you want to go for first. Like, I don't know, man. Like for me, anyway, I feel like we've talked about this before. It's disrespectful that we have to pay to watch track and field competitions, right? It's the NCAA championships, and you have to pay to watch the NCAA championships. You don't have to pay to watch the Final Four. You have to pay to watch, the World Series, the baseball deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, like it's troublesome for me that, one, we're forcing the public to pay for something. So then the people that pay are only going to be like the avid fans, right? So you're not going to get new fans by making people pay. That's where I want to start. It's like that's the ugly part of it. That and the fact that when they do this, and the announcers aren't always as educated as I think they should be on what's going on around them. Okay.
So he jumped in and stole my.
Well, pile on, baby, pile on.
I'll jump. I was gonna say, if you're not ready, I'll take the baton and go from there. Look, I'll be honest. As harsh as that sounded, you were kind when you said that they're not as educated as we think they should be. Because I think it's worse. I think they are educated, but they just don't do their homework. And so I don't ever want to publicly call somebody lazy. But I'll just say, like,
but you just did.
Some you can infer it, sure. That some of the information that is readily available to them that could make a mediocre filler become a great filler just will require like 5 more minutes of conversation prior. Just ask a few more questions, figure out where St. Lucia is as opposed to Jamaica. Just stuff like that.
Oh boy.
But
he's right though, right? Isn't he right?
I mean, listen, look, y'all know, like, Dan's my guy, right? And he is knowledgeable about the combined events, right? So So how do we find out 5 minutes after he crosses the finish line that Kyle Garland missed the world record? Forget the NCAA championship. He missed the world record by less than a second. It was almost as if they were surprised to find out. And that's my issue. I go right in with you on the ugly, because that shouldn't happen.
Right. And see, and I'm going to tell you this. See, I disagree. We can't call people educated who don't study.
I mean, yeah.
That's kind of what do you call that? An oxymoron or whatever, something like that. Yeah, I don't know how to use the big cow words like you do, but at the end of the day, like, all I'm going to say to you is that, okay, so we have, in my opinion, I'm biased, the most exciting sport on the planet, right? It's an absolute ring circus. And when it's at the championships, there's no sport that carries the excitement and constant momentum that could go on at the track, right? But we never capture it. You know, we never put it on a forum where we can see it and it can be, I mean, for those of us who were fortunate enough to be in that building, what you watched, the coverage you saw had nothing on what was going on in that building.
Yeah.
It was, especially the women's meet. The women's meet was out of control. Oh my God.
And they missed the boat on all the field events all the time.
Yeah.
So when you have a condensed schedule where you have a separate men's and a separate women's meet, and you've got essentially 2 to 3 hours of action that never stops, as someone that's commentating, you have to be one step ahead. And if you understand what's going on underneath the surface, and you paint that picture and things start to materialize, you can literally paint the picture as you go. And you can literally set the stage. Like, how many times have you been watching the NCAA championships and not knowing who the particulars are, who is in it, what happens if this happens, what happens if team X gets third, what happens if team X, and it's literally 2 days. So it's 2 days where you're just building up to this crescendo, and you have to do your homework. Like, these are things that the public wants to know, right? Like, and so those are things that I think are severely missed. But the little details, man, like the little things mean a lot, because things will just go right over your head and you won't even realize it.
So y'all know me. I don't really like excuses, right?
Really?
Not the excuses thing doesn't rock with me too often. No, so here's the thing. You call it what you want. I'm gonna call it laziness, and it's not every track and field commentator, but I do think it is the majority. And it's across all the networks, right? But from an NCAA perspective, so I'm in the building. I'm standing near the governor for most of it. So we got the same 2-hour time window that the TV has, right? If me and the governor know enough about our sport that we can tell interesting stories about the athletes on the track in between the events and make, outrageous predictions and tell the context of, yeah, but you know what? Whether you think Russell's going to win or whether you think Nugent's going to win, is everybody understanding that, like, you could see a world record? It's only 768 and they ran this. Like, if we can do that in real time, then people who are getting paid to comment on the event could do that in real time. Every time I go home and watch one of these broadcasts, it feels very reactionary to me.
Exactly.
Reactionary. It's like they're watching the track meet.
No, right. Yes. They're sitting there watching it like my mom watches it.
Yes.
Like, yes. Oh, that was really fast. How fast was that? What's the girl's name? What school? Like, that's how they.
And I got a better take on it, even to the point of, okay, so we talk about being educated, some of them spend an enormous amount of time trying to sound educated. Okay, these are terms that should never be used by announcers. Drive phase, reaction time, front side mechanics, backside mechanics, bent trail leg, bent lead leg,
Right.
good lead arm, bad lead arm, because you really don't know.
And that's exactly.
So you're saying you
exactly
want to take away all the words that they use?
No. But that's the point, right?
I agree.
Instead of the race happening, and then while the replay is going on, person X is trying to explain to the audience what this technical thing looks like or is supposed to look like. Shut the hell up and tell the story about the kid. Tell me that. Give me some context about how the rivalry has built all year because they lost this race 2 weeks ago. But tell me that. I don't need you to tell me what you think John Smith told you in a conversation one time about the drive phase.
So
here's the crazy thing.
We're going in on the bad, right? Since we're going in on the bad, let me drop one final bad, Mike, and then we can move to goods and uglies or whatever. We are the only collegiate sport that is guaranteed to either be or have opportunities at being better than anything that's ever happened on the globe, right? No matter who you watch play college football, you don't watch a college football game or a college football performance and compare that immediately in a positive fashion to what happens in the Super Bowl at the NFL, right? Same in basketball, same in every other sport. But Jasmine Moore is the best American female triple jumper ever, right?
Combo jumper ever. Okay, give her just combo jumper.
All of the above, right?
157, baby.
And Kyle Garland almost broke a world record, and we've been at that meet where world records were broken. There was a world best run by Arkansas, right? Yep. These are better than anything done on the pro level. So you got literally somebody handed you the Hope Diamond, and you busy talking about it's a nice big rock. They have the best product ever to pontificate about, and they always trying to simplify it for the layman. Listen, laymen are not paying to watch these track meets.
This is true. The relay is a perfect example.
And to that point, like they don't have to simplify it. You don't simplify anything by talking about a drive phase, because first of all, let's be clear. And to my knowledge, there's only really two people who know what that really means. Two coaches, John and Trevor, because everybody else is just guessing that. Right? They are. I'm just telling you. The number of people who use that term that have no clue what it means is amazing to me. And a commentator using that phrase is just using it because they've heard somebody say it. But you're you get so caught up in, let's just use Terrence Jones, right? The better story for that was the fact that the guy, that's the first time he's been able to get to the meet and do his job, right? So let's talk about that. Tell that story. Don't tell me that his drive phase with this, because he didn't have a drive phase. He almost fell in his face. So let's stop right there, right?
I mean, and that right there is an excellent example. As the audience member, I am much more interested if I'm learning from the commentators that this particular athlete has been running fast for a really long time, but in these moments doesn't come through. And then, oops, he comes through. Now I'm way more interested in his championship that he just won.
Right.
I don't want to hear your technical prowess about his drive phase.
I am not bashing Dwight Stone, but it would be nice to hear somebody talk about Talitha and not remind us that Joetta made the Olympic team 8 times.
But you know what that's for? You know what
her mother was an Olympian, but we don't have to do it though. Her mother was an Olympian.
No. I'm not defending it.
Her auntie was an Olympian. Her other auntie was an Olympian. And this week, they called her uncle her father. Oh,
right. But the point is that if you keep regurgitating the same people for tradition's sake, old people tell old stories because that's the stuff they remember the best.
Okay, so that's a great segue into the good.
Right.
And I'm going to say this.
Bringing John Anderson
before you do that.
John Anderson and Otto Bolden are Emmy-worthy track and field commentators.
Yes.
They are Emmy worthy. They're better than anything else that's out there that's on this continent.
So I'm gonna get him back on my soapbox. Otto knows what the drive phase is. He never used it.
I mean, that's a fact.
And you know, every network kind of does it a little different, as Dan was trying to, you know, get into. But when Otto is allowed time to pontificate, he very rarely spends time pontificating on that nonsense. He tries to get stories in. He tries to give context.
Yep.
John Anderson, we all know, takes time to look into backgrounds and find interesting things to discuss in his role. Now, he's not the color guy, right? He's not the play-by-play. When Tiana had her opportunities to work for NBC, Tiana knows what she knows, right? When they told her that she had to cover a segment or two about throws, I watched this child kill herself for 2 days trying to figure out backgrounds and marks and context to the contest that she was about to have to speak on. She wasn't about to step out there and try to tell anybody about the technique of throwing, but she could tell an interesting story about why this person and this person are rivals and what that means to them, right?
The virtues of glide versus spin. Nobody knows.
Right. No one cares. The throws coaches don't care. You know what I mean? Like that's the worst thing. You're trying to play to an audience. You say
Otto
something
does a
wrong,
phenomenal job of, you know, I'm listening to Otto. I think he might have been commentating. It might have been the Worlds last year, or maybe it was a Trials or something. But he commented on the fact that he wasn't sure that Grant was over his loss at the Olympic Games.
Wow.
Right?
So you set the stage.
Yes.
Exactly.
Set the stage.
Exactly. Yep.
So now the audience is like, man, like what happened?
What?
Can he get over the hump?
Right. And if you set the stage well enough, it elevates whatever the result is.
Exactly.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I mean, like
I remember watching that when I came back from Worlds, and that was brilliant because Grant won. So there's a moment there where you should connect to that. But what if he lost? Either way, I'm more intrigued because Otto told me or reminded me of what happened and the context behind it. Like that's yes.
Like
you know who else is pretty good at that? The Brits. The Brits are great at that.
Oh,
that's why I said on this
phenomenal
continent.
at it.
The Brits are ruthless.
The Brits,
I love the
Brits are
Brits.
amazing. The Brits are amazing.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, right? Like I think that's why we all get so frustrated. The good, I think we would all agree, is we have some really good commentators. But it becomes bad because we surround them sometimes with people who won't do all the work. And then the worst part is it's not even them. It's the way that track meets are produced in this country. It's somebody decided a long time ago that all field events need to be canned, and we're going to give you a screen, or canned, and we're going to give you like the leaders jump, or in best case scenario, what we get at NCAAs, we get third, second, and first. Although sometimes they confuse that and they show us 4 jumps and they can't figure out who was which. But they miss the best part about field events, which is the drama of the back and forth. Right? The best part about being a field eventer is that you get to respond to what somebody else does, right? They miss that drama in the women's triple jump and the men's long jump.
Exactly. Okay, in the women's triple jump, okay, I want you to go on Track and Field News, read the article about Jasmine Moore, okay? They credit her with having the 5 furthest jumps in collegiate history. Not true.
Not true.
They don't even mention Charisma Taylor, who lost her mind.
Yeah.
Who PR'd by over 4 feet.
4 feet. Yeah.
But because clearly whoever wrote the article they just looked at Jasmine's marks in comparison to what the mark used to be.
At the surface.
Exactly. They didn't deep into it, but if it's covered better, that person may know better. Right?
And that's a great point. Because me and KST were sitting there and Jasmine comes down and she does her first jump
Yeah.
And me and him and everybody else in the little area is like, it's like the NBA dunk contest. We're all like, it's over.
It's over.
It's a wrap. But then in the next round, Charisma Taylor puts out a jumper like, oh, actually,
Yeah.
there's pressure.
Yeah, like Jasmine goes
was gonna
48-4, and then Charisma goes 47-10,
Mhm.
and Jasmine says, "Okay, well here's 15 meters for you," and then Charisma goes, "Okay, well here's 48-10 for you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turned into a competition.
Exactly, and nobody talked about that.
No.
Nope.
Yeah.
Just us. We was there. Just
So
Exactly,
the issue at hand, and I've thought about this just listening to this the back and forth. When you hear about what's going on in the booth in the NFL and the competition that's going on with, you know, the people that are already in the booth and the folks that are now knocking on the door, that is not happening in track and field. Where is the new blood? Where are the younger folks that actually want to do it, that are knowledgeable about it? I think what we're seeing, and I've been on the inside myself, we have a situation where it's the same producers that produce these track meets, and they have their favorites.
Yeah.
And there is no parity whatsoever.
Right.
None. So you get
So-
the same conversations happening.
Yeah,
So when you have someone that, and then when you get comfortable, then who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
Because you are judge, jury, executioner, right?
one of the best stories of the NCAA meet was Washington,
Yeah.
and because Washington was a lot more than the milers, right?
Yeah.
But all they talked about was the milers. Now, I'm going to defend the group a little bit, the announcers, because I think part of the problem is what what the governor just said, and the fact that like they have the same producers and they've been told what to say, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to I think it was 2012, right? We won our first national title in 2012 by winning the 4x4. They didn't know it. That they didn't even they were so focused on the performances of the meet, they didn't realize the team score was that tight, right? So everybody jumped them about team scores. So every time somebody runs a race, that's big because that's 10 points for Stanford or Arkansas or Florida. They so much now they're focused so much on the team aspect of it that they don't recognize the individual part of it. They've got to find a way to, like as Clyde says, tell the stories that lead to those things.
Yes.
Right?
Like,
don't just talk about the 10 points.
There's
Here's a
plenty of
storyline
time to get that stuff done because, like I said, we do it ourselves in real time.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's a storyline that they missed completely that would have drove Sir Lucius crazy when he saw it, but he would have completely appreciated. Jasmine Moore got snubbed for the Bowerman last year. And in response, her and her coach got in the lab, come back, and brought this to us. Right? That might not even be true, but man, is that a great story.
Absolutely.
I mean, hey,
And
if you want to delve
reason
into,
follow Jasmine Moore?
You can tell that story because that story is true. I can tell you that.
but you know what? But that goes back. That
was
goes
true.
back to the knowing the context and doing your education, right? Like, you should know that the Alphabet Crew exists. You should know about the Bowerman snub, and if you're sitting there watching this women's meet, you know, hey, that might happen again.
Yeah.
Because Caitlin Tui did what she did.
Yeah.
Because Juju did what she did.
Yeah.
You know, right? Like, you could tell that instead of discussing the third heat of the 4x4 and who's running in it. Like, I don't care. Like, just tell me that. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be much more interested in that.
Or talk about both of them, right?
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Like, how many people outside of the nerds and the true track heads even know that track has a Heisman?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, tell us that. But yes,
So-
because if it was a football player that got snubbed, you talk about it the
all over.
entire game.
Oh,
yes,
All over.
absolutely.
He's got a
Oh.
chip on his shoulder. He's
Oh,
running
yeah.
harder than he ever has. He's working harder than he ever has. See, it doesn't take, just all you have to do is watch Jasmine prepare for the competition when she gets there, right? She's on a mission. And as soon as she takes her shirt off and you see how ripped her back is, you're like, oh my God, like this child's been working, right? So it's like at the end of the day, like tell that story. And honestly, this isn't about the bout, right? because I guess it is about the Bowerman, but all the Bowerman did was, let her know that she needed to be at her best at all times, even though she was already at her best at all times, right? So this is like, whether you think I'm worthy of the Bowerman or not, I'm going to continue to show you just how great I am, and that's what she's doing.
And I think we've thrown this out in another context, but I'm here for it. And I know I've seen this in broadcasts and other sports, particularly in gymnastics. If you want to tell the story of the team title, we all have a decent picture of who's really in the mix beforehand. Top 5 on both genders. Mic them up.
I was just about to say, mic them up.
Mic them up. I want to know what Mike Holloway was feeling after the women's 400. I don't want to hear you talk about the race. I want to see a clip from Mr. Holloway. You know what I mean? I want to know what Akira Nugent's coaches felt like when she took the title from Masai Russell.
And to your point, Clyde, as Sir Lucius is walking up the backstretch, he is literally saying what he's thinking. Yes. And I don't know if Sir Lucius realized, took it out too fast. She just took it out too fast. And that is something that is like, I mean, for coaches, for folks that are watching, that are trying to learn, okay, how did this young lady run this fast? What happened? Like, those are little things that you can grab, and you can take that. It goes, okay, so one of the best coaches in NCAA history, okay, just gave you a lesson on how not to run that championship race, okay? And those are things that, we miss those. We hear them because we know it's coming. We know what to look for. But to give the viewing public that insight on those little things, I mean, come on now. That's
I think
the NFL, the NBA, they're already there.
The biggest thing that they miss out that we miss out on is that that the whole, like, even the knowing public don't know about, right? Every one of us has been in this situation. What goes on in the warm-up area?
Yeah.
Yes. Like the coaching that happens in the warm-up area on meet days. Yeah. Do you know how many people don't realize that the vast majority of y'all's young people's performances you don't see directly out there, that you see it on a TV, or you like peek your head through a screen and then run back in and go warm somebody up? Right. Like, that story is like, that would be epic. But these are the things that because we care about all the nuts and the bolts and like how awesome of a complete story that this is, and we realize that the story only gets, it's like they read our track meets get covered like a book jacket. Like, we don't need to read the whole book. Just read the book jacket and you get the general idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very reactionary. It really is.
So here's my proposal. So if more often, or more so if you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. But if not, Peyton and Eli do their coverage of a live game, right?
Which is phenomenal, by the way.
So
the Mannings live on Monday night is hilarious.
It's gold. It's
Nickelodeon.
Gold.
Nickelodeon does the same, and they've done it for other sports as well. Yeah, all of it, right?
Yeah.
So we need a version that doesn't necessarily give the coach's perspective, but like put the 5 of us on the screen at PIP with the meet going on, talking about the background, talking about some, not necessarily the coach, what they're trying to do, but a tactic. You know what I mean? Like explaining what Washington was trying to do, that type thing, and that be coverage.
Yeah.
Alternative coverage.
Yeah.
So y'all can go steal that, but I just realized that it was said here first out loud.
That's right.
And I like, the idea of coaches being mic'd up. Okay. Can you watch a football or basketball game and 70% of the time the camera's on the coach? Right? As soon as the game stops, it goes right to the head coach.
Yep.
A football player scores a touchdown, they watch him celebrate, they go right to the head coach, or it's a split screen.
Yeah.
Right. But you never know what very rarely do you see what the track coach is doing.
Well, I'll
true.
say this. They probably can't find the track coach.
Yeah, because we can't get to the track. We can't get to we're at the national meet. It has nothing to do with television.
Yeah,
And like they're telling us, okay, you can walk in this way, but you can't walk back this way. I'm like, what do you
Right.
mean?
Can't walk
The warm
back
track's
that way.
right there. Like the
Right.
warm track's right there. So the moment I step across this line, I got to walk all the way around the stage to get back over. Luckily, the powers to be cleaned that up, but that's a whole nother issue. We don't need to get into that.
I'm not hearing a lot of good. I'm just not
Yeah.
hearing.
No,
a lot of good.
So to revert to the good, Otto is good. John Anderson is good. The Brits are elite.
Phenomenal.
And
Yes.
and honestly, it's because those people, you can tell that they do their homework. You
Yeah.
could tell that they're interested in the narrative, the context, the storytelling aspect of it. That's why they're good. We need more of that. We need to triple that. Way more of that.
Because Dwight Stones was better before he was pigeonholed into I have to concerned about the team score.
Yep.
He was much better before because like now that's all he talks about because that's what he's been charged to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And why did we all like Robert Griffin last year? Because he told stories.
Yes.
Funny analogies, right?
Right.
Yes.
He tried to do too much, but
Good.
it was more
On occasion,
interesting.
he was too much.
But it was more
refreshing.
interesting than
It was
a lot of
refreshing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think the one thing that blows my mind is like we love to cover distance races from beginning to end. But no offense to anybody that this is going to offend, but we can't find a distance specialist announcer that can make the races seem interesting.
Yeah.
Just because you ran distance well does not mean that you commentated well. And really all you got to do is watch any meet covered by the Brits, whichever one of them covers the distance races, listen, it could be a 412 mile. It will sound interesting.
and you know why that is, at least in my opinion. One, there's two main reasons I love the Brits. One, they are not above like calling a spade a spade. If it sucks,
they will
they're
rail
going to
you.
tell you that
Sure.
it sucks.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yes.
Right. And in the distance realm, instead of like they very rarely do like if the Brits put on a 5K race and you're going to watch it in its entirety, they don't spend the entirety of the race talking about the race. They tell interesting stories about the people in the race. And sometimes they get off, like it feels like they're just free flowing and like, now he's moved up to the front.
Yeah.
They get into it. But no, them calling people out, them pointing out shenanigans and bad moments is gold.
Yeah.
You got all these distance people who know the truth about what I'm about to say, but it would be so awesome if they just told the truth about the DMR. Look, it's each school's all-star team that puts together the DMR to get here. The chess match is who actually shows up and runs. See, that would make the DMR interesting to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But instead, look, again, we got the dope chart. So then when, we know Caitlin Tuohy's not running on NC State's DMR, but we're expecting their DMR to be top 3 because they were top 3 coming in. It's like, see, but that's you setting the audience up for failure with that.
You take off 424 and put on 440 at 16 seconds.
Exactly.
Simple
Different
math,
race.
right?
Yeah.
Right. And so the DMR is definitely a chess piece, right? You can cover that during as the day is going, because as people qualify in the 8, as people qualify in the mile, they may or may not be running on the DMR now. Right.
Yeah.
And let's be
most of them, like you
what
said,
JJ did with his 2.
Yeah.
Right. What he did with his two I don't want to disrespect them and call them half milers. They were athletes all weekend. Right.
Yeah.
One ran what the 8 and the other one ran the mile on the
No. They went.
Was it 12 a mile?
There was the 8 and a mile.
Right.
It was the 8 and a
And
mile,
then
but they were both on the 4x4.
4x4.
They both ran
Right.
8s, and then they both ran the 4x4.
They were the 3rd and 4th legs on the 4x4. They went 1-2 in the 800.
And yeah.
Right.
That was just JJ
and
doing
folks,
JJ.
there's not a distance.
Those of us who know JJ were not surprised by that at all.
Right, but I
There's
need
not a distance
JJ.
coach
I
on
need
this panel, but
JJ
we
mic'd
know
up.
this.
I need JJ mic'd up during all of that.
Oh,
And trust
man.
me on this one, because I have been with JJ in the warm-up area and in practice. Hilarious.
Yes.
Brutally honest, to the point. I mean, probably the best mic'd up session ever would be Vince Anderson and myself in a warm-up area. It's just out of control.
I would pay
Out of control.
I would pay the
Oh,
fee
man.
to watch that.
Like it could be because it's an absolute clinic.
Yeah.
We're talking about starts and I mean everything. All the stuff you want to hear, we're talking about.
Well, okay. So we all saw, for instance, like, I mean, I sent you guys the video of the 4x400 hurdles final, the world record. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if the viewing public understood the angst, the nerves, the, you know, even the greatest athletes and what they're going through right before they walk into that stadium, it would change. I think it would change the perception altogether because, you know, once the lights come on, it's time to shine, right? And the cream rises to the top. We see mind-blowing things, but they're still human beings. And I don't think that track and field coverage has yet to really show you, like, because you see the humanity in the warm-up area. That is
the
where
warm-up area is what we're missing.
That is where the coaches are like, hey, let's okay, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine. Right. And that's the part that's missing. I think that part is really lacking in our television coverage.
Yeah, we don't get the full Monty, as they call it.
No, we don't.
All right. I'm going to move us on because we have to not
beat
make
that
everybody.
We beat that one up pretty good.
No, we didn't.
Good job
We have
with
to
it.
make sure that people don't think that we hate our commentating. We don't hate it.
And we don't.
It can be
We just
better.
want it to be better. Yeah.
Just can be better. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
Please hear that. So, with the weekend that's coming up for Sue Lucius, what's coming up next weekend at Texas Relays, and who knows what the governor.
No. We're next weekend. We're not this week. We're next weekend too. Also.
Oh, just kidding. I lied.
Head to head.
But you know, the governor could have done this last week at UTSA. What is the best non-championship meet in the country?
over the span of the year, not just this weekend or next
Correct,
weekend
yes.
or whatever. Okay.
On any given weekend.
And on this continent, right?
On this continent.
Collegiate or pro?
Collegiate or pro. My middle school, AAU, USATF, I don't know. Who's got the best hospitality tent?
I'm going to jump out there and I'm going to give 3 and you can try to hold me to one at the end, but I'm going to give them, I'm going to give them at their levels. The best non-championship meet in the country at the high school level is the Arcadia Invitational. It is, it has been, it will remain that way.
Yes, it will.
History, look at the records, look at how they bring in athletes from out of state to challenge the best of California. It's at the perfect time of year. They do a brilliant job. It is always packed to the gills.
And I would like to say the Arcadia meet is on my bucket list. So I haven't been there yet. So
gotta go.
Okay.
So that's the high school. Pro, I think it's Prefontaine. It, you know, I wanted, back in the day, I probably would have said the old Mount Sac, you know, the Sunday Mount Sac.
Yeah.
But that don't exist no more. So at the pro, I'm gonna say Prefontaine. But the collegiate is a split between 2 meets at the same place. It's either the Florida Relays if you like that particular flavor, or the Tom Jones meet if you like that particular flavor. But those are the two. And I am not saying that because Sir Lucius is sitting here. Again, look at the history. Look at the last 10 years alone. Like, for me, it's Florida just because of all the elements that encompass the Florida Relays. You know, there's the Texas Relays, the Penn Relays, Drake Relays, all good relay meets. But Florida also gives you the element of running all the regular events. And that's why I think it's the best collegiate meet. And I'm out.
Lamar?
Whew, high school meet, I think, is a no-brainer. I definitely do think it's Arcadia, and I think if you go to Arcadia, you probably wouldn't argue that anymore. I honestly am unimpressed with all pro meets in the United States, and that's not even a shot at pre. Pre is awesome, but it's pre. I mean, I hate to say it like this. Every meet at Oregon is the same. They're all run really well. They're always going to be stacked with athletes. They all have a certain tenor. The crowd is always going to be the same, and so unfortunately, they kind of compete against themselves in that regard. And it's not like I guess I'm just saying I could miss a Prefontaine meet and not care because I know the next year it'll be good, or the next meet at Oregon will be good, or whatever, right? But it's the collegiate meets where it's at, because it's the only chance where you get it. You got a chance to see elite level pros, elite level collegians who will be pros, and sometimes they go head to head. And I love Texas relays. My only issue is that I know half of what I'm going to see is going to be wind aided and not count.
You're terrible.
I mean, listen,
True though.
It's
we
true,
do
but you're
fact
terrible.
shit, right?
Right.
I love Texas. Listen, I love Texas relays. But Texas relays used to be better than Florida relays. Used to be, in my brain. That was a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
And Florida relays used to be way better than Tom Jones. That was also a long time ago. At this point, Sir Lucius has clearly chosen violence, or at least his meet director has, and they invited the NCAA. The NCAA finals split up into two meets, so half comes 1 week and half comes 2 weeks later, or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to be a homer, but in the current landscape that we're in, from a non-championship meet perspective, if you just look at quality of marks that come out of those two meets, it almost certainly is going to be one of those two.
So give me your three again. Arcadia, pre.
Yeah. If I went strictly pro, I said pre. Arcadia, pre, and the collegiate. I'm leaning, because of history, Florida relays over Tom Jones, but it ain't. It's,
Tom Jones is making enough noise to be like,
right.
Shut up.
Right.
I mean, look, I'll say this. If you just go over the last 10 years, I think it's like one of those Florida meets, Texas relays, and the other Florida meet. Like it's a nice sandwich.
So I'm going to go in a different direction, and it's really based on my experience. So I have yet to go to Arcadia. I've heard tons about it. I mean, obviously, it is a staple, and it is something that I need to get over to watch. But here's what I will say: the California State meet.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But it's a championship meet.
Championship.
Unreal.
It's a championship.
That's a
meet.
championship
That's why,
meet. That's why.
That's why none of us said it.
But finish your thought. Finish your thought, because you're right.
I mean, for sure.
Look, I got a very steep education the last time I went to the Cali State meet. And when I found out about the road to get there, and the fact that there is no 1A meet, 2A meet, 3A, 4A, 5A, it is the best in the state lineup. It doesn't matter whether your school has 200 in your graduation class or 2,000, it does not matter. If you can get through that gauntlet to get to the Cali State meet, I mean, yeah. So that, I'm going to move on from that. So as far as high school meets, the best that I've seen with my eyes was Penn relays. And just when you added in the Jamaican influence and all of that. I mean, it is just unreal when that gun goes off and you have those championship races. Unreal. So I'm just gonna go off of that. As far as pro, when you have a meet in the United States where the shoe company you have no choice. You have to compete. It's one of the few times in the United States where you're going to get the best of the best lining up against each other. And it is theater every single time. Like, pre-delivers, whether it's a good or bad year, you are going to watch TV. You're going to watch that meet. As far as collegiate, I mean, I have yet to experience the new and improved Tom Jones, but goodness me, like it is, I would say it's probably in between the first round meet and the national meet in terms of the results that come out of that meet. And then you add in the pros. I mean, it's just insane. It's literally like you're literally doing on a collegiate level what pre does with the pros, because the best of the best. And now you have a situation where they want to be there. That adds a whole other, no one's dodging anybody. And you're getting 5, 6, 7 of the top 10 teams in the country in one venue. I mean, please find me another meet in the United States where that actually happens. I'll wait.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have not experienced Arcadia, and like I said, it's on my bucket list. And I've experienced pin relays, and I think the finals of the pin relays in the high school sections are phenomenal, but it's just not enough events for me, right? So, but from an experience standpoint, what I've actually seen and felt my own eyes and ears, it's pin, because I've never been to Arcadia, but the results scream Arcadia, so I'm going with Arcadia, right? I'm going with Arcadia. I mean, from the professional side, there's no comparison. I mean, it's Prefontaine because that's the only one we really have. I mean, the other one's
the only one we really have.
I mean, you got New York, and then, you know,
yeah, but it's not like free, you know, yeah, and so, but like, and then from the collegiate standpoint, I mean, there was a time, obviously, when it was Penn relays and it was Texas relays, and then Florida relays, obviously, you know, made a great run at that, and but COVID really changed the landscape here in Gainesville, so we don't have as many teams for Florida relays, and so now Tom Jones becomes this monster, right? So you have time still. The Tom Jones meet is still 3 weeks away. So if you need hotels and if you need airfare or bus fare, you got time to get it together.
Yeah.
Florida, Florida State, LSU, Texas, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Baylor, Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky. Okay. Yeah, now, we're all also remember that the Empire Athletics group trains here in the state of Florida. That's Gary Evans's group that has the Olympic. What's the Olympic champion's name in the 400? Oh, Stevie Gardner, that group. Right? Jasmine Camacho Quinn. You got Dennis Mitchell's group, which is Kenny Bednarik and the boys. You got Lance Brahman, the Lyles brothers, and those kids. You got Raina and his crew over in Jacksonville. They're all coming. And we got an email today that the Morley brothers and their crew are coming. So
wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There was a French group there last year.
Yeah. And I'm sure they'll be back as this year.
There's been a history of the French.
Yeah, the French have always come here. Yeah. So I think that for me, this year it's going to be Tom Jones, right?
Yeah.
And I feel bad because like Ohio State's coming to Tom Jones. Like Tom Jones is going to be, it's not for the faint of heart. So let's put it that way.
So last year in the World Athletics rankings, Pre was number 1 in the US, Mount Sac was number 2, Tom Jones was 3.
Yeah.
Murphy Classic was 4th. That was the American.
American Track League. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
Texas
Shout out
Relays
to
was
Paul
5.
Doyle and his boys. Yeah.
Texas Relays was 5 in
Yeah.
terms of.
Shout out to Paul Doyle.
Yeah.
So I do want to throw this one small secret tidbit out to you real track nuts. The best, like the greatest compilation of high school talent that's ever at one track meet is not the California State meet. It is the Southern Section
Precursor.
Finals.
It's the precursor.
Yeah.
It is the precursor to the state meet. It's the Southern Section Finals, and there are more Division I track and field athletes in that track meet than any track meet in the entire country. And there's 45 to 50% of them don't even get to compete in the state meet.
You know, like I obviously I've never been to any of those competitions, but I've had many a coach say, going to the state meet is nice, but that's the meet you want to go to.
Yeah.
Because there's people that will not get out of that meet that will go on to be collegiate All-Americans. Right.
That's
I also want to say
100%.
before I get myself in trouble when I'm speaking of professional groups training in Florida. There's a decent group here in Gainesville as well. So I don't want to spike that with those
I mean, I was gonna say
because I was about to be like Kareem, but my man the governor and be in a little bit of trouble here for not giving people credit. So yeah, there's a decent group here in Gainesville as well. So yeah.
Jeez.
Because and you think about it like this, because some of those collegiate teams that are coming, they bring professionals. Like with Kentucky comes Christian Coleman, right?
Oh, yeah.
North Carolina A&T coming, that means Daniel Roberts will be here. I mean, it's Florida State's coming, so Trey Cunningham shows up. So it's going to be a phenomenal competition, Tom Jones, this year. We're really looking forward to it. I mean, the funny backstory, I'd shared this with the EP, is that I got a call last year that USATF might want to partner and get some money going, and I'm like, why? They're like, what? I'm like, they're coming for free. Why are we paying them? Like, they just show up. So you guys got a bribe, and we don't. We just show up, and like this is a meet where you could see 9-8 and 19 and 44 low, and you just pick an event, and it's going to remember. Like last year, the guy from Texas Tech ran 143, right?
Yeah,
it was just crazy. And I expect the meet overall this year to be the best Tom Jones we've ever had.
So how do you package that and show it to the masses? I mean, it's too big of a meet,
You got to pay Flow Track, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Golly.
Man.
Well, I mean, there's a lot. And it depends on what you're looking for, right? Best non-championship meet. Are you looking for distance races? We've all spoken to the point of like, you don't need a fast distance race. Fast people run fast. Doesn't matter where they are. We've all said that. But, sometimes it's the background. Sometimes it's the buildup. Sometimes it is the commentary that goes with it.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
if you're a distance nut, take your butt to the Oxy Invitational just one time.
yeah, that one is big.
Yeah.
Take yourself to the Oxy. It's at Occidental College.
Yeah,
Look
they're
it
like,
up.
what school's Oxy?
Go watch the Occidental College. I think it's Invitational. The Oxy Invite. That's what it's called.
Oxy Invite, yeah.
Just watch it one time, and you'll be like, I'm coming here every year.
Oh my goodness.
That and the like 3 hours of 10,000s at Stanford. Those are worthwhile watches as a distance person.
Oof.
The Distance Carnival.
That man, I don't know if I would call it a carnival. I know it's called a carnival, but
Hey,
it's
not my term. Not my term.
I know.
I mean, that's what they call it.
Yeah. No, I mean, we hosted the complimentary meet at San Francisco State for that distance carnival at San Francisco State. So anyway.
You have not lived until you've watched the 10,000 at Brussels when they bring out the African band and start drumming for 25 laps.
Oh no, that's the Stanford Invite.
No, yeah, right. On a
they
smaller
do that for
scale.
25 laps, right? It's the American version, and that's what I think they got it from. Governor, I think that's where they got it from.
And the Stanford band is nutty in the most positive way.
Okay,
in the most positive way. So it's wild.
Geez. Well, with that being said, I'm sure you all who are watching and listening right now have your own meats to make sure that we know about. So please feel free to put them in the comments. I'm sure somebody will get a text on their phone mid-show and been like, y'all forgot this meat. And we'll say, oh,
I'm here for it.
Oh, and I mean, for all of you who host these meets, don't get it twisted. The better the hospitality tent, the better the meat is. Just let it be said. Just let it be said.
That's funny.
So, I mean, not everybody has coached a high school meet on the time, or like, I guess recently is better said. But these new high school meets are having meal tickets, and you get to go to the concession stand and have like a full-on meal.
Hey, that's the other thing. Meat food at Arcadia is elite.
It's
Really?
factual.
I mean, it's
what were we
elite.
eating last year? Last year there was something we were eating, and I can't
I was
remember what
eating
it is
all
now.
kind of things. I had a
There's
burrito,
the
I
Mexican,
had a smash
yeah.
burger. I had a few things.
It was the Mexican. I do remember that. It was on the backside near the throwing area. So, anyways, sheesh.
Yeah, Arcadia is a cheat code for high school meets, because if you are a frequenter of Arcadia, then you know you can go and pre-recruit and go watch the Frost soft meet.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you'll see
You're not
kids run
pre-recruiting,
ridiculous
sir,
things.
Mr. Violator. Don't say that.
Well,
There's no
he
violation.
can say it because he's the baseball guy.
I was gonna say, I just show up and watch stuff.
He's the op.
don't.
He's the op. We send him in.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Can't take that dude anywhere, can you?
I know, the walking violation.
I'm just trying to
Good
put
thing
y'all
you're
up
not
on
in the NCAA anymore.
I'm just trying to put y'all up on
you
game.
just gave somebody a violation because they're like, "Ooh,
It's not a
I
violation.
can."
You can go watch them. You just can't talk to them.
I know, but you didn't say that part.
Hey,
And
I
then-
You said pre-recruiting. You used the word recruiting, sir.
So what?
Exactly.
That's recruiting.
Look,
All right, buddy.
compliance
Hey,
department. His
and
name is.
what do we have
Christopher
next? Because you know he's not gonna let you.
I'm gonna say, get him out
Not
of here.
at all.
Yeah,
I know. All right. So would you rather? Mr. Huffin, you are on would you
geez.
rather seat.
I actually am surprised for once.
I
Lost
kind of
track.
restarted the cycle, not gonna lie. Excuse me.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. I'm exciting you.
Yeah. So much. So are you ready?
I am.
Would you rather be on the track or in the bleachers at Tom Jones this year?
On the track.
Because he's gonna.
I hope you
follow
didn't mean
through.
running.
No.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. No, actually, let me tell you something. If you want to lose weight, try and follow Sir Lucius during.
Well, so I was gonna say, you'd be on his back pocket, being like, "You see that? I told you."
Nah, I stand on the where the 200 start is. I stand over there and I work between there and the middle of the backstretch, so I can watch the warm up shenanigans as well as the meat.
All right. So, speaking of meat snacks, would you rather eat peanut butter and crackers or apples with peanut butter?
Ooh. Probably apples and peanut butter. That is an elite snack.
It is. Out the jar. It is.
That is an elite snack.
All right. Would you rather tie your shoes or just slip on your shoes?
Okay, so I don't ever tie my shoes, but I wear tied shoes, just not tied. I don't do slip-ons.
I don't ever tie my shoes, but I don't tie my shoes.
What I'm saying is I don't wear
slip-on
shoes.
Yeah.
I don't wear slip-on shoes at all. I wear laced-up shoes. They just aren't tied.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else want
that's
to
your
go?
fault. You ask him that question, so it's different.
If you know, then you know. If you were a sneakerhead, you understand.
I understand.
I understand.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I understand as well, but Big League, you asked the question. So.
Anybody
Right
wearing
now.
no slip-ons? Exactly.
Oh my gosh, y'all are gonna break your ankles and have plantar
No,
fasciitis.
they know y'all. No,
Ain't
no, no,
nobody,
no. They know
ain't
y'all
nobody
to
on this.
this.
Look,
I'm tying my
ain't none of
shoes.
us trying to hoop no more.
I already got plantar fascia. It
See?
is what it
Look.
is.
Listen,
Look.
if I tie my shoes, it's because I'm about to do something. If I tie my shoes, it's because I'm about to get into some activities. I'm about to hoop. I'm about to go chase somebody down. I'm about to do something. If I'm not about to do something, I'm just chilling, I will not be tying my shoes.
Oh my gosh. Would you rather play pickleball or go axe throwing?
Oh, definitely go. I will play pickleball in a heartbeat. I'm
A lot of fun.
listen. All I can think about with axe throwing is how it can go wrong. I mean, I'm just being honest. I've been. It's fun, but all I can think about is how that can go wrong.
Excuse me. Would you rather? Ooh, I can't do it. Nope, I can't do it. I'm leaving that one alone.
Scared?
What the hell?
Nope.
What you mean?
No, because it's gonna be sus, and you guys are gonna
No,
call
what
me.
you mean?
No,
You
nope,
gotta give
nope,
him the
nope,
sus
nope,
question.
no, it's too much.
Chew, you asked me a question about
this one.
drumsticks and
I love it.
performed. I
Oh
want to
my
hear the
God.
suspect question.
Oh my gosh. No, moving on. The floor is yours, guys. I can't do it.
Ooh.
I can't do that one. It was
That
too
was
bad.
weak.
It was too bad.
Oh,
I
man.
didn't think about it as I was typing it out.
I am still in the point of my life. I think I'm just going to try boycotting because nobody gets the suspect questions that I get.
You
This
gonna
one
get
was
this one
bad.
next time. Whatever one she didn't ask, she gonna throw it to you
Exactly.
next time.
Exactly.
Yep.
I will get
She's
it.
gonna
next
ask
time,
you.
that's for sure.
Oh my gosh. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Would you rather one of your multis win a medal in Budapest or win the overall multi-event challenge this year?
Win a medal in Budapest.
Would you rather be the meet director of Florida Relays or be the meet director of the New Rules Mount Sac?
I would much rather, and I mean, I'll send in my resume if this job is actually available. I would much rather be the meet director of Florida Relays / Tom Jones. I would want nothing to do with the new and improved Mount Sac. I feel like that's 6 months of angry phone calls and emails.
Excuse me.
All right. All expense paid week trip to Berlin for the World Championships, or all expense paid trip to Zurich for the World Championships. 1 week tours.
Wait a minute.
Wait, you
They're
mean
gonna have a
Zurich for the
world
Diamond League
championship?
final?
World Championships at Zurich or World Championships in Berlin.
Oh,
Sir,
so it's a
listen to
city
me.
choice, is what it is.
If they
Yeah.
have a world championship at Zurich, it will break the internet. It'll break the earth. There will be meet records set that can't ever be approached. I will take Zurich over just about any place.
Lamar, does not leave the question there? Why have we not seen this?
Because like I said, I think well, first of all, if you had a world championship in Zurich, Switzerland, there's a lot of countries that couldn't afford to go. Right? So let's just start with that. But if you look at the meet records at Weltklasse,
Mm-hmm.
you would think that there have been several Olympics and World Championships that have been held at that particular venue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you talk about bucket lists. That should be on everybody who loves track and field's bucket list, is to attend Weltklasse at least once in your life.
All right. Well, closing out the show with heartbeat props. Man. Trying to redeem myself from that very not great question. Can't get my mind off.
As the kids would say, that would you rather was hella mid.
Oh my God. I had to give it up. That was the turning point, and I just had to give it up on that one.
That was hella mid.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
All right, I'm gonna go Homer here. Heartbeat props to my wife.
Trying to clean it up now.
He's trying to swim his way out the doghouse.
He's trying to clean it up.
During home track meets or prior to home track meets, her stress levels are through the roof. And, look, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that our track meets are a good experience. Of course, everybody here on this panel knows about the amount of planning that goes into it. With the weather and everything, the logistics, everything, this weekend was very, very stressful. And to come out of that meet and to have every single team tell us that we put on a good meet, they enjoyed their experience despite sub 50-degree weather. Kudos to my wife, getting, lighting a fire under our kids to come out and volunteer. Yeah, it was, I'm glad it's over. But yeah, the orchestrator, the facilitator, that's my wife.
So, well said, sir. I'm gonna go next and stay in that same theme. So my better half came home with the baby this past weekend for spring break, and tomorrow they are on their way to Knoxville, Tennessee, for her to participate in the first of two Hall of Fame ceremonies. Tiana's being inducted into the University of Tennessee Athletics Hall of Fame, rightfully so.
About time.
Right? But she's also later in the year going to be inducted into the state of Tennessee's Athletics Hall of Fame, which is dope. So she came home for spring break, and what do all students want to do on spring break? They want to do as little as possible. So I brought the baby boy to work with me, and as much as I thoroughly enjoyed that day, when I tell you I got nothing accomplished, I got absolutely nothing accomplished. So I have no idea how that woman wrote a 35-page paper with that dude attached to whatever he want to be attached to. I am in awe of her focus and her ability to just do what she does on a daily basis. So props to my better half, Miss Tiana Madison. Congrats. You deserve it all, kid. And you are a better human than I will ever be. That dude ran this office. I couldn't get an email off with that boy around.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
That is truly funny.
I'm gonna give a heartbeat props to all of the NCAA track coaches. I don't think we realize how masochistic we are. Like we just never stop.
Yeah.
And when I realized that we had people that were in Albuquerque at the national championships in a very stressful situation, and a week later they're freezing in 50-degree or lower weather putting on track meets. That's insanity, folks. So my heartbeat props go to all of us because we're all crazy. So everybody stay well. Certifiably, yes, absolutely.
Oh man.
Oh man. man. A couple of my clients have made it tough for me to pick one this week. But I'm actually going to pick my shortest client. One of my guys is still a collegian, so I can't say his name. I'm his advisor, so we're clear. I'm not his agent. But he has managed to take this opportunity to show the scouting world that although he is small and he is really fast, he has juice, as he puts it. And he has now hit 5 home runs in this short season. And I don't think he had 5 in 4 years prior to this. He appears to be on a mission, and I had to call his dad and ask him, has he been lifting somewhere that we don't know about? And I would like to give my props to this young man. I can't say his name. We'll call him him. He's Himmy Turner. And he's been a lot of fun to watch this year. And baseball is heating up. I'm getting pulled in multiple directions, and I love it. This is the chaos that I have chosen for my wonderful life. Spring training in Florida right
Wake
now.
up, Chew.
Back to track practice on Friday. So
yes, welcome.
Let's go get them.
My heartbeat props go to my brother and those of you individuals who happen to be parents who think they can coach their kids.
Good luck with that.
It's not easy. And my heart goes out to all of you who then realize what coaching actually is and how just talking, demanding, and yelling at your children to do something doesn't work. I hope and pray for your patience, and I hope and pray for you to realize that, quote unquote, I don't want to say quote unquote, allowing for those individuals who can coach or are willing to coach to do what they're choosing to do. He called me. He's like, why can't I just yell at them? Well, the better part was, he goes, what is positive reinforcement and why am I being told to do it? I said, so CPS doesn't come to your door. How about that? And
that is epic.
It was completely an educational moment. He just like, no. I said, well, sir, that's why you don't coach your children. That's the first reason why you don't coach your children.
Rule number 1, why you don't coach your own kids.
But it's, for all of you who don't necessarily realize what the role of a coach is and why it's so special when someone who can interact with your child can actually do it and bring them out of their shells to perform. It's a big thing. So heartbeat props to all the parents and individuals who then realize what that job really means. So trying not to be backhanded, but it was backhanded. So with that, that episode was a very ping-pongy episode that we just completed. So thank you for bearing with us. We shot off a lot at you guys. So have a great weekend. Enjoy the spring season now that it is officially here. And hopefully California has been a little bit drier and a little bit warmer.
Ooh,
so
boy.
You'll be on your way too.
Oh, man.
I know, right? Well, everyone, have a great week and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents smash the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot knife the butter. Truth pin 'em hard, knock 'em off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics, LLC, there's no others. Track and field's place and we'll peel to go further. Hey, Wile E. Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these 4 corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking till your circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass or fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics LLC, the task force.